if you had to guess by the sound of the roar. Whatever creature you disturbed by the crashing of this airship is probably on the way to check out what the sound was. Currently,
it's going towards the airship, though. We're not on the
Yeah,
airship.
not us,
yeah, you're not
right?
on the airship. No, you've landed a little ways away from the airship. The four of you stand, having just transformed back into your proper selves after coasting through the jungle canopy and into the thick of the jungle. On your way down, you saw only jungle stretching from end to end. So now you stand there, a little beat up and tired, something big on its way. What would you like to do?
Guys, I'm gonna suggest that we either get ready to fight this thing or scoot.
I don't know about everybody else, but I'm feeling a bit worse for wear.
I second this notion.
Oh,
All right.
Maybe a bit of a rest.
Can we see what sort of time it is? Sorry.
It's probably late afternoon.
Okay.
I mean,
All right, then we need to get as far away from the wreckage of the ship as possible.
yeah.
Great.
All right, is there any particular direction you would like to head?
Is the sound coming like northern or like from in front of us or behind us?
Because we landed on like the side of like a hilltop mountain side. So, should we head up?
That's a good.
I'm assuming we
If that's
also
not-
got a good bird's eye view, so to speak, of the island before we landed on it. So we probably have some sense of direction based on that. I don't know if that means we need to go like up or toward the shore. I don't know, unless is it very mountainous?
Parts of it are. Coming down, the airship was crashing close enough to the ground to where you only really saw jungle from end to end. So you're not sure, you're not close to a coast. Parts of it are, it's not quite mountains, but it's definitely rocky. It's just very rocky terrain in places. Other places is just trees. Very obviously unexplored terrain.
All right, then I agree we should probably get to higher ground to see if we can figure out if there's any inhabited part of this island.
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So you begin heading up, climbing up the rockier portions. Some parts are a little steeper, but you have trees grown out in weird ways that you can kind of grab onto and help you pull yourselves up in certain spots. It's kind of slow. It's kind of a slow trek, but you don't hear the sound of the roaring anymore. Whatever it was, it either found the airship and saw nothing there, or it just stopped up the trail entirely. After a few hours, you kind of get to where this landmass plateaus, and it's more or less even for maybe 100 or so feet before it starts dropping back down on the other side. The sun will probably set soon. It's kind of coming to be that weird lighting where it would just be easier to see if it was dark. It's just that weird like haze. Looking down from this vantage point, you see the canopies, where if you were to travel through them at night, it would probably be nearly impossible to see without dark vision or any sort of a light source. You stand on top of this plateau looking down at an unknown jungle, but you have reached the top.
We'll make base here for tonight. What do we think?
I see. That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can we see any like smoke rising up from anywhere? Anything that would indicate other people?
Make a perception check.
First roll.
First roll.
It's been a long time since I've said those words.
Oh yeah, right.
First roll of the game.
That would be an 8 plus 8, so 16.
Okay. You don't see any signs of smoke nearby or any signs of another camp. Looking around, it's just jungle. You just hear the sounds of different jungle insects and different creatures, different animals, different growling, different roaring, the cracking of wood in the distance. That's all.
This plateau that we're on, is it like a circular plateau? Like we can walk to the end of it and it's all around? Or is it like we're on a shelf and we can walk one way or the other and it goes
It's
down?
more of circular. Yeah, it's more of
Okay.
you're at the top of this little, almost like a hillside, but a big hillside.
Okay.
Yeah, it's stable enough. How are you going about setting up camp for the night?
Question is, what do we still have?
What were you?
Nothing but our persons. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we got our gear from that closet.
Yeah. We
Packs, like if we had a backpack, would we have that?
Yeah, if you had that on, yeah, you would have that.
Okay.
We should probably maybe start a fire. Maybe, I don't know. That would draw some attention towards us. Probably not the best, but it might get. I don't know. What is the temperature here? Is it hot?
It's
Temperate?
it's
Cool.
pretty hot. It's definitely more humid than you're used to, especially up in the sky. But yeah, you're already like sweating underneath the thicker parts of your clothing, any armor that you have placed on.
Are we? I'll look at it. Are we worried about creatures?
Honestly, no, I don't think so. This high up, I think the only thing likely to attack us is
Birds.
large birds, and I don't know if there are any in this region, but I think I'm willing to gamble we'll be okay from birds.
Well, I will volunteer to take first watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take second.
Did you say we were passing like trees and branches on the way up this mountain?
Yeah.
Were any of them in bloom?
There's not a lot of life on most of these trees here.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they were sturdy enough to pull you up, but a lot of it looks like it'd probably be dead wood if you were to snap that off.
Okay. I was wondering if it would be worth like doing some foraging whilst we've got this evening spare to collect some food together. I might give it a go.
All right.
Cool.
Like climbing back down or seeing what you can find around the hillside.
Climbing back down, as long as it's not going to take me like an hour to get back up.
Okay,
Like I'll spend like an hour maximum going around the area and stuff.
Sure. Sounds like that's a survival check.
Cool.
Or
Happy with
nature.
survival.
Could be nature. I'll let you pick.
I'll go survival.
Okay.
That is a 22.
All right. Did anybody go with?
I'll go with him as a little bit of some backup.
Okay. Then yeah, you would definitely be able to carry back. Looking around, you're able to find many plants that you know are edible. Quite a few berries. You're able to find a good amount of berries. And I will say with that roll, the two of you together, you could easily probably trap an animal. some sort of smaller animal if you wish.
Protein is good.
Cool. Yeah, go out, gather some berries, gather some mushrooms, roots, edible leaves. We catch like a vole or something, like a little stoat, and then obviously I feel really sad and sorry for it. And I think, what about the vole babies? And then don't take it because I'm a sucker, and so on and so forth.
So what, you don't take the vole?
Of course not. No. What about the vole babies? They'll perish needlessly.
I will wait till he is far enough away, and then I will take it.
I assume
Catching the vole baby again.
I assume you let it out of the trap, right?
Yes, of
Oh,
course.
you let it
Okay.
trap?
Yes,
Okay.
of course.
Then he's like, well, we've trapped this now. Well, we can't
I
take
mean,
it. Bye.
I'll give you a chance to try to tackle it if you want.
I was thinking about something, but then I was like, well, if they do that, that will bring more attention to us, and I don't want that. So I would just let it go and breathe heavily. I'm just like, looks like a vegetarian menu tonight.
I pat him on the back and tell him he's a good man.
Oh, nice.
I'm just, everyone just sighs heavily. Well, if you say so.
All right. So, what were Naya and Barth doing for the hour or so that the other two are gone?
I would guess that I'm sort of creating a little camp ring, sort of, and rolling out my bedroll, sort of like setting up a sort of camp site for us, just to make sure that we know this is our area here.
Okay.
Barth, what's your instrument that you play?
I play a lute.
So I think Naya, as they're both setting up their bedrolls and stuff and making it, kind of as cozy as possible, she's just going to be like nudging the lute, looking at the lute, humming, maybe hoping that Barth will do a campfire song.
So he does definitely notice that she's sort of nudging my lute, and I would ask her if she is musical. Ask her. So Bart's going to ask her if she's musical or if she likes music.
I am musical appreciative.
Okay.
I am not musical talented.
Okay. Well, playing on all the stages that I have, I will like pull out my lute and see what we can do. And I told her, I'll noodle around on it a little bit and create a song for when all the others come back so that we can listen. I'll play it while we're sort of lounging and eating.
Okay. And then after a little while, your friends come back with armfuls of different roots and berries and plants.
We've brought dinner.
I'm making soup.
Well,
Soup is good.
Did we say
Soup
we
is
built
good.
a little fire or we didn't?
I did. I built a small enough fire that it wouldn't cause anybody to see it, but it's like small coals that he could put a pot on and it would boil.
I've just realized I do not have a pot in my inventory. Does anybody have like
I was
a
just
mess kit
looking
or
for
a
that too.
See, I was gonna see.
You're all
Good
looking
idea.
through your bags and you're like, shit.
Yeah.
We don't have any cooking supplies.
Nope. I have a hammer and a crowbar.
Yeah, we could like jam these things onto our crowbars and hold them over the fire.
I have brewer's supplies, so I would probably have some sort
You
of
probably
a pot.
do have some kind of a pot.
Yeah, to brew some soup.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Of course.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the beer drinking, country singing bard has a pot there to make a soup.
Excellent. Into the soup goes water and our veggies and roots and berries. Just chuck it all in there. Sweet soup.
Perfect. So you cook up some soup. It starts filling the air with just this really pretty delicious smell, and you're realizing how hungry you are. The sun is starting to set, so everything has like that just dark orange glow to it as you're sitting up here. You can look down at the shadows that are forming through the canopy tops. Ephraim, what are you thinking right now?
He's probably thinking that he kind of went from like the frying pan into the fire. At the moment, he was like, well, I was imprisoned wrongfully. I crashed an airship, and now I'm in the thicket of a jungle. It's been a long ways from the throne room.
Okay, so Naya, you hear just little whispers of thoughts, but you do hear that last thought come a long way from the throne room, and you hear that in your head.
So that piques my interest, and I look over at Ephraim, and I see that everybody's now kind of settling in and getting ready to eat their soup. So I am going to cast Pass Without Trace, which will emanate a veil of shadows and silence around us so that it would be difficult for anyone else to see or hear us. And I'm going to just tell everyone the effects of that. And I'm going to say, I have a feeling that we all have some things on our mind. I know that we all were imprisoned. And since we've been through this adventure together, I wanted to open up a space for us to share, if you want to, what got you here. And I look first at Ephraim.
Oh, dear.
I'm looking at you first because of the hullabaloo with your gun and your other gun that you talked to.
So the one that I got from the armory is gone. Yes, that's been exploded. Here goes this one, and he just like it apparates out of his hand. Just places it on the ground. That one? Is this what you speak of? Well, we have a mutual agreement, she and I. She got me out of a tough spot, but I still owe her. One could say a life for a life.
You mentioned that you had a troublesome brother.
That is putting it lightly. He is the worst kind of being possible. You know, usurps one's parents and blames said sibling for usurpness, if that is a word.
It can be now. No one can hear us.
No one can hear us. He is power hungry. Well, he has all the power now. That is true. You see, in my culture, women are the heads of our tribe. And my mother, whom was the queen and the head of our pride, my brother didn't exactly like that. He wanted the power, and so he made a plan in which to usurp her and turned all of the guard against us. But you see, the rest of the pride didn't particularly like that. So he cooked up a plan that one of his own is really what started the revolution. it was me, because I am studious and mother's favorite, apparently, and easy to be pinned on.
Had you fallen out with him before, or was this a surprise?
A little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. Never really got along with him, as he is a warrior class and was usually sent to the front lines for any kind of battle. He felt, I don't know what the word is, he felt that he didn't get enough spotlight, he didn't get enough love from our mother, because I was, in his own words, fragile. I'm a bit of a bookworm, a bit of a studious individual. And I don't know, being the youngest, my mother kind of, I don't know, maybe coddled me a little more than he. And he didn't enjoy that very much. So if he couldn't have everything, he would have nothing.
I'm sorry. That's sad.
It is sad. It is very sad. She was a wonderful woman. She was a wonderful leader who brought people together. Unfortunately, she could not bring her family together in the end. But that's okay.
And do you want to go back?
Do I want to go back? Yes, for a number of reasons, of course. One, have to pay debts. And two, he is a piece of refuse, as one would say.
Well,
Does not belong on that throne. And not saying that I belong there either. I believe that someone who is right for our community should be leading us, and not lineage.
it's interesting. My story is somewhat similar. I also work around nobility, and I have a brother. Only he's somewhat similar in that he's reckless, but we love each other. I work as a spy. Many of my people do. Many of my people are also performers. My brother had the performing talent. He was an actor. But there's also a rivalry between the houses. And he was always playing pranks and trying to play tricks on one of the other prominent houses. And he got caught stealing something of great value. He would have gotten caught if I had not taken the blame for him. So I am here serving his sentence by choice. You certainly didn't choose yours, but we have a similar story. Now I don't know what to do, because my intention was to take the penalty and try to go back and regain favor, or build a life doing something else. Now I'm not sure if that's even an option.
Yeah, I was cast out for a long time, and something came into my purview through a book, that I had no power and I needed power, and it called out to me. And in my weakness, I grabbed it with both hands, not knowing what it was. And now we are connected, she and I. And like I said, it's a life for a life. They gave me a life. Now they need another in payment. And, well, I believe I have one just for her. Just the right person. One that does not need to be around any longer. One who has caused harm and pain and misery.
Well, I can see you are justified. I would only say that sometimes once the vengeance is yours, you don't feel the same, and remember that it is your brother. I won't offer any advice beyond that.
I'm hoping that I can possibly strike a second deal, but I don't think it will be possible. I don't want to have to do something so rash, but it wouldn't be unwarranted. You know, they
So
say.
you're right.
They do say that an eye for an eye does make the world blind, but I believe he is already blind already. Blinded by his greed and his power, lust. Nothing stands in his way. Nothing stands in his way with when he wants something.
What about you, Tati?
And at that moment, you ask, "What about you, Tati?" And all of you freeze and stiffen as you hear a familiar sound. It is something grabbing the trees to help climb up the side of this mountain. As you look over, it's moving quick, a just tall figure, lithe and dexterous. In this just quick moment, this flash, it's a multicolored skin, and you see them almost like swing up, like they're not touching the actual rocky cliffside. They swung up off of a tree, landed on the plateau, and just began sprinting to the other side of it, to jump off on the other side. Having not heard you, had no idea you were up here, gets halfway through sprinting, seems surprised to see you as it kind of catches out of peripheral vision, looks over, you see them like skid to a stop, basically. There's this frustrated that slips through their teeth as they stop and they turn around to face the direction that they were running from. You see the clothing seems somewhat tribal, and if not a little tattered, the figure turns to you, still facing the direction it was running from, turns to you and says something in a language that none of you entirely understand. Naya and Tati, you can make some of it out. Some words translate correctly. It seems to be some very, very ancient form of Elven. Some words translate, what you make out is, "Stand your ground, do not flee." And then their head turns back towards the direction they were running from. And you see he's holding some sort of large spear. It looks way too large to be wielded by any of you. Just a very large, intricately carved spear that seems to have some sort of a glass shard for the actual spearhead of this thing. And is there anything immediately that you do to react to this?
Since I am one of the ones that heard, I would just tell the others to look alive and get ready for a battle.
I dropped the pan of soup back where it was, so I'm no longer holding it. I do not need that in my hands when I'm fighting monsters.
And I'm gonna pull out my crossbow too.
I reach my hand over the gun. It disappears in the smoke and then immediately into my hand.
Perfect.
I'll grab my star map just in case I need to cast a spell, but we'll see first.
Anything specific for Barth?
I think he's still noodling around on his loot, which is his focus, so...
Perfect.
Okay.
Can I try to hide anywhere too? Is there like anything, or is it all pretty open?
It's all pretty open over here.
Okay.
The only thing I can think is like if you wanted to hide underneath bedrolls or something.
Well, it might
freedom
work
is
with the
right
pass
there.
without trace now. Gives us that +10.
That's true.
It does give us a +10 spell.
That is nice.
Everybody- Everybody, stay crouched. Ready to attack.
Where did those people go? All I see is
Here, hold this
bedrolls.
tiny leaf in front of you.
Hide behind the soup.
Get into soup.
They can't see me.
Oh man. All right. So you hear claws hitting stone. Whatever is climbing up this mountainside has just claws raking down it. You hear rocks falling. You hear trees. A different sound. It's not quite the trees being pulled. It's the trees snapping and then the rocks sliding a little further. This thing is big. And you hear just more claws scraping. It doesn't take very long before you see this creature come up over the top of this. It looks like it was a bit of a struggle to get up here, but it managed. You see two very, very large clawed feet step up. A scaled form, some sort of like long, almost lizard-like tail. Very, very tall body with a very large lizard-like head. Smaller arms with sharp talons. As this creature stands up fully, it is standing like a solid 10 to 12 feet high. And it stands, it looks at all of you, it breathes in and it just roars, this deafening roar over the top of this plateau. And you see this being that stopped before you is just holding the spear and trying to stay steady. And we're gonna roll initiative.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Come on, baby. Give it to me. Oh, yeah. Ah, yes, the golden snitch. Okay. Initiative is... I'm going to... 15 for me, and I'll be right back. I'm so sorry.
That is a hot, tasty 8 from this guy.
Oof.
Oof.
I got
Hitting
a
high with them
19.
8s.
Barth got a 23.
Wow. Hot, tasty 8.
Mm-hmm. Sweetest 8 in the game.
Naya, what's your dex?
+4.
Okay.
With this
Oh,
interruption
sorry, it's
happening,
18.
are we
I don't know
gonna
if that's
get?
what you're asking.
No, but
Are we
that
gonna
was
get a
fine.
long rest?
Okay.
You haven't gotten one yet.
Not yet. We're getting there. It's slowly progress.
All right, so this thing has just roared, shaking this entire plateau. Barth, you are up first.
I'm gonna cast fairy fire on it,
Okay.
and he needs to make a dexterity saving throw of 15.
11, that's a fail.
All right, so he is now lit up in a big violet light, kind of like he's got a big stage light on him.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's like he's in spotlight now. And I said, if you're gonna hit him now.
Perfect. You gonna stay where you are?
I'm gonna move farther away from him so that I don't get hit.
All right, so you start backing up towards the other side of the plateau.
Yeah.
Naya,
Yeah.
you're up.
I am going to cast Chromatic Orb now with advantage. And that's a natural 20. So I'm not going to roll again.
Yes.
Yes!
Okay.
First
Nice.
off, a gate!
Mhm.
So
This is how we start a
that
campaign.
that means instead of 3d8, it's going to be 6d8. Right?
Or, I mean, you can just roll the 3d8 and then whatever your total is, double it.
Okay. Okay, so that's going to be 26 damage. I'm going to make it lightning.
All right.
Nice.
Since he's all purple, now he's purple and, glowy.
Perfect.
Since he was
Um,
purple, now he's cool.
So is that lightning that comes from you? Or does it come like from the sky or
It's from me. It's like like a ball of lightning, basically.
perfect. So yeah, you're like forming this ball of lightning and then you just push it forward and it just slams into its chest and you see it arcing throughout its entire body. It kind of arcs out and the parts that arc out almost like turn purple as they're arcing from this orb. It looks like the really cool light show going on over here.
Nice.
Are you moving anywhere?
I am gonna try to back up a bit to try to put some distance between me and it.
Okay.
Because staying
All
away
right,
usually does well for
It
me.
is its turn. It's its turn. So you see that blast of lightning did make it kind of step back a little bit. Its back foot kind of slips and slides off of the edge of this plateau and it stands back up. Looking around, you see its head just moving. You've noticed this tall figure that ran in is holding almost entirely still. And as this creature is looking back and forth, all it sees are the two figures that have moved. So it looks over to Barth and Naya and then just begins stomping forward. As it stomps, it's going to come up and it is going to bite. It is going to just bring its jaws down to try to bite into Naya.
Okay.
And while that's happening, its tail is going to spin around and try to just knock Barth off the plateau.
Bye, Buff.
Oh God! I feel
I'm
like this is
It's a theme. It's a common theme. It's going to happen
It's
throughout
not
the
theme.
entire
It's
show.
all right.
So
Can anyone do
for
that
the
sound
bite,
Goofy makes? Yoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
the bite is a 16.
I'm gonna uncanny dodge.
Okay.
That at 8.
Let's see here. No, but uncanny dodge, does that
That just halves the damage.
Yeah,
It
that
halves
halves
the damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So does a 16 hit?
Oh, sorry. I thought you said 16 damage. I think 16 does hit. Yeah, it just hits.
Okay. So that's going to be 11 points of damage with the uncanny
Okay.
dodge. So
With the uncanny dodge. Oh boy.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, it clamps its jaws down. You are dodging out of the way so it doesn't grab onto like your entire top half. You go to like jump out of the way and it bites into your like midsection, but it picks you up.
Oh boy.
You are
Okay.
currently inside of its mouth, a couple teeth piercing into your skin. You're trying to position yourself in a way where it can't bite down any harder, but it has you in its jaws.
Okay.
So let's see. Barth.
It's a big one, huh?
Oh no, Buff.
Oh no! I'm gonna
Well-
come out with something crazy out of the gate.
See you later, guys.
Well, it was fun playing with you.
Yeah. Remember when we said this
Just be
might
glad
be
it's not
3
like
episodes?
a straight drop, you know.
All right. That's going to be 27 points of damage.
Oh,
As the tail,
ay.
the tail has this force you were not expecting, and it slams into you. You feel one of your ribs snap, and you also feel yourself make a dexterity saving throw for me.
That's actually one of my better ones, but I just rolled a number 1. But
Oh no.
I've got my luck.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh.
I get to re-roll that to a 21.
Okay. So cinematically here, I rolled a natural 20.
Oh,
You rolled a natural 1 on your save. Luckily, you have luck. So here's what happens. As this tail slams into you, you feel a rib snap. For sure, that rib is broken.
Oh god.
You also feel it begin to lift you off the plateau. And you realize you were on the other side. You're going to be flung off of this thing. So
Oh, not again.
last second, as you're being flung off, you grab onto his tail and you just hug the end of the tail. You're just holding on to the end of the tail so that once it slams its tail back down on the ground, you have now let go of the tail and you're standing on the plateau again.
Oh God.
Okay.
All right. That's the T-Rex's turn. So, Ephraim, you're up.
I look at the gun and I go, "Are you ready, darling?" And for a moment there, you can see within the chambers, it becomes red hot. And I go, that's interesting. And he will cast Scorching Ray at 3rd level.
Okay.
So I have to take a spell attack. That is a natural 20.
What? All right. Yes. Look at you.
The Golden
guys. All right.
Snitch. So that is normally 2d6 fire damage. But at 3rd level, it gets an additional ray. So because it's 3, it says you cast 3 rays of fire and hurl them at the targets within range. And says each ray, it says make a spell attack on each ray. So each ray, I have to do that.
Okay. It's a natural 20 for one.
That is a 13 plus 7, which is a dirty 20.
That hits.
That is an 18 plus 7.
All 3 hit.
And yep. So actually it's what?
You got a 4th one, right?
Got a 4th one. Yep, and 17 plus 7.
Yeah.
So the first one, so it's what, 2d6 for the first one?
It's either 2d6 or 4d6, and then
It's 2d6 fire.
Yeah, 2d6 and then just double that.
okay.
So
double
the
that
first
total.
one is 10, so 20 damage.
Okay.
The
That is an excellent start.
The second is
For you guys.
6 damage.
Okay.
The third is 12 damage.
All right.
And the fourth is 9 damage.
Okay.
Now, do I get just second wind? I'm just seeing if I'm at 5th level already. I believe I get a second action as a fighter.
I think that's correct.
Yes. Yes. Action. Yep, I do. Yep. So he will then just, after that, he'll just give the old Eldritch Blast.
Perfect.
That is a 18 altogether.
Yeah, that hits.
And Eldritch Blast is 1d10. That is 5 more points.
All right. Yeah, so you see all of these rays just are they okay, so
Actually, it's 2 beams, right? Yeah, 2 beams. So I gotta do I do it twice? Or I forgot how that works. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
If I remember correctly, for Eldritch Blast,
is it 2
since
beams
it's-
or is it more damage?
it says total.
Eldritch Blast, I think you get a second beam.
Yeah, so I have to do it again.
Okay, yeah.
Nah, that one doesn't hit. Nope, because it's a 4 plus 7. So no, only the first one hit.
Okay.
Wait. Those should have been at advantage because he's still lit up.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so
Nice.
okay.
Good memory.
That's a 16 plus 7.
That'll do it.
That is 8 plus 3, so 11 more damage.
Okay.
Jesus. This dino's really having like a light show.
So I had to come out strong.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
step forward. It still has Naya.
my party is getting trampled on by a T-Rex. I was like, I'm not having any of this.
I feel like I should be
Understood.
like, I feel like I should be playing like the final countdown. Like when the lights are hitting it.
Well, now
I'm
you're back on the plateau, you can.
I was so angry it messed with my soup time. I was like, damn, I was about to have some soup, and this T-Rex is ruining it.
Yeah, it's standing there with Naya in its mouth, and it so those scorching rays coming from your gun, is that like machine gun style scorching rays, or is it
I'm
like
like-
1, 2,
No, I
3?
just like wham, wham, wham,
Perfect.
wham, and then just like, oh, that's not enough. Okay, blam, blam. Like,
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Each impact it seems to be just like pushing it like half an inch with each one. And it's turning and it's seeing where all of these lights are coming from. Naya's still in its mouth, but it has turned and it has noticed Ephraim. It is now you see this figure standing there with this spear. You see holding perfectly still. They kept their composure while this T-Rex basically stomped past them. And then now you see they turn and they kind of take a couple it kind of almost looks like prancing, just like some just very light steps backwards, and then it brings up this spear and throws it. I'm keeping these dice forever. I bought these specifically for oh no, you're not gonna be able to see them, for prisoners. I'll have to take a picture of them. They look like they're like steampunk styled.
Cool.
Nice.
But that's another natural 20. So
Oh god.
oh no, that means the
This
world's
poor
bad.
T-Rex has had like 3 natural 20s now.
Well, here's the thing: the universe is gonna have to like balance itself. One of us
Yes,
is gonna.
it will. My money's on Bath.
Yep.
Oh, poor Bard.
all right, so you see this spear thrown and it spins, but right before it hits this creature, you see that glass shard explode out into hundreds of other glass shards, and they all stab into this creature, and you see each little glass shard like sink into the scales, like working its way into the creature. You see the creature like just let out this pained growl and it starts shaking its head, and it turns. You see the actual stick of the spear then zooms backwards back into this being's hands, and he begins to just ready himself for another attack. Tati, you're up.
Oh, gosh dang. So much is happening so quickly. Tati is like a little bit bewildered.
Still
pulls
chewing
up
on
the
some
scroll.
soup?
I didn't get no soup yet. Ain't no soup time. And their instinct was to like try and push the thing off the cliff, but obviously someone's being eaten now, so that's not as good as an idea as like they originally thought. So I'm gonna go for I'm just seeing what the range is on healing word, because I feel like someone might need some of it. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go for healing word on the tutor, if that's okay.
Okay.
Cool. So that's 1d4 plus my spellcasting ability modifier. It's 9 points of healing, if that's any good to you.
9 points to Naya.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so is there anything else you'd like to do?
No, that's me.
Okay. I didn't quite hear any of that, Katie, if you were...
I know, I was muted. I was just
Okay.
saying that my wounds were healing around the dinosaur's teeth.
Like using you into its mouth.
Yeah.
Pleasant.
But I feel better.
I feel
All right.
alive.
Perfect. Back up to the top here, we have Barth.
Okay, Barth, having almost been thrown off of the plateau, he's just gonna stay where he is. And I think he is going to cast dissonant whispers to this thing. He needs to make a wisdom saving throw
Wisdom.
at 4th level.
I got a 15.
That's just it. Let me see what happens here.
Yee.
My cat blessed my dice, so.
Yes, that's the best kind of blessing.
I'm gonna have to
What?
try that.
One could say it was perfect.
Okay.
Nice.
So he still gets half damage.
Okay, cool.
So 12. I think it's necrotic damage. Yeah.
12 points of necrotic?
Yep.
All right. What does that look like?
So it sounds like a big, huge G chord in only his ears.
Okay.
Like I throw it from the lute and it just like reverberates in his what would be ears on him, and he's like thrashing about because he doesn't know where the sound is coming from. So he takes 12 damage from that.
Perfect. All right. Naya, you're up. You are in this thing's mouth.
Okay. So Naya has a -1 to strength, so she's like, I don't know if she's gonna be able to pry this thing's jaws open. So I think I'm gonna try to just do my acid splash with my free hand in its eyes to see if I
Nice.
can get it to let me go.
Okay.
And it has to do a dex save, DC 15.
All right. Let's see here. That is a fail.
Nice. Okay, so it's gonna take 2d6 of acid damage. Oh, my other d6 didn't come out. There it is. So that's gonna be 9. 9 points of acid damage.
Nice. Yeah, so holding you in its jaws, it's thrashing around because of the sounds in its head, and it's getting hit from various different places. It's looking around. It was not it was chasing a target. It wasn't expecting this many things to suddenly be attacking it. You see it's just thrashing around, looking, trying to see how many people are up here, and as it spins, you just bring up your hand and acid just splashes onto the side of this creature's face. You see it just begin burning one of its eyes. It does like clamp that eye closed, and it is currently blind in that eye.
Nice.
One could say it was blinded by the light.
Okay, it is now its turn. With that, taking that pain, it drops you, and you land down on the plateau.
And I try to like flip as I fall and like land
Sure.
on my feet.
Make a dex roll.
Okay. I do not. I got a 1.
You can only try, okay?
There's only so much you can do when you fall out of a T-Rex's mouth. But
There's only so much you can do.
I need that
I
on
think
a
that means I
t-shirt.
landed on my head.
I need that on a t-shirt. There's only so much you could do when you fall out of a T-Rex's mouth.
I gotta write that down. Hold on.
Affirmation for the day. There's only so much you can do when you fall out of a T-Rex's mouth.
You can see that. Remember, like as you're letting your kids out for the day. Remember, kids, there's no so much you can do.
Yeah, that should be your next like LinkedIn like intro paragraph.
Yeah.
There's only so
That's a
much
good
you
one.
can do.
Yeah.
She has like a poster of that next to like the poster of the little kitten hanging from the tree that says like home and
oh,
Oh man. Okay. Woo. Yeah, so it drops you. You have this thought where you're like, I'm gonna do a flip. It's gonna be so cool. And as you're dropping, your body just kind of flails, and you just land still on your side where your elbow like jams into your own side, and you're just like, all the air gets knocked out, and you have landed flat on the
Prone.
ground. Yeah.
I forgot that I had no ab strength because there were like teeth in there. So all my like I need my core to do that flip, and I just couldn't do it.
Teeth will do it.
Whoops.
Ooh.
Oof.
So it has dropped you, and it's going to turn around and a lot of the pain dealt to this thing came from Ephraim. So it turns around, looks directly to you, roars as it takes one stomp forward and just goes to bite down onto you instead. That's a 24.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I only have a 14 over class.
It's gonna be 23 points of piercing damage. As you're not so lucky, you're not able to dodge out of the way, and it takes your entire top half into its mouth, bites down, and lifts you up. Just Ephraim's feet, like from the knees down, are out of this creature's mouth as it stands up and just starts like shaking its head. And its tail is going to whip around and try to hit Tati.
Oh no, no Tati.
Not sweet little Tati.
That is a 14.
All he wanted was soup.
I'm only made to make soup, guys. A 14 does hit, yes.
Okay.
He's not going to be happy with me here in a minute.
It's going to be 15 points of bludgeoning damage as the tail, it's not a swing to like hit you off, but instead it's almost like coming down and it slams into you, knocks you down onto your knees for a moment, just from the sheer weight of this thing's tail.
Gosh dang.
And you just hear this growl in its throat as it's looking around. Ephraim, you are up.
I'm in its mouth at the moment,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
The top half of me is in my mouth, in his mouth. Cool.
Correct.
I'm going to cast Scorching Ray at third level and give this animal some heartburn. And I want him to think twice about eating a cat again.
Perfect. So the thing is you're in its mouth, and rolling to hit is stupid. So I'm gonna say roll each ray just to make sure you don't have a 1. And
That's a natural 20 on one. That's a 16 plus 7 on another one. That is a 19 plus 7. And the third one is a 14 plus 7.
perfect. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you roll the damage for all of them, add them all together, and then double that.
I'm going to take a...
That's a lot of damage.
You're inside its mouth, like why that's not considered a crit, I don't know.
I don't know.
So-
That's crazy.
It is today.
Yeah, because the insides are more sensitive than the outsides.
Yes.
Just like me.
Oh. 4 plus 7 plus 9. 4 plus 7 plus 9. One more. Come on. Yes. That's 12 damage. 32 times 2, you said?
Yes.
64 damage. 64 fire damage. And that's my first turn, because I still have it on.
Okay, so all of you see this T-Rex pick Ephraim up, pull him up, hit Tati, slam him down onto the ground. The T-Rex shakes its head, and then you see between its teeth just a light, like a flash of light. And then you see another, and then another, and then you see one of these rays explode out the backside of the T-Rex's head. And you see the T-Rex take a couple steps and then begin to fall over. It's falling, it slams down, the whole plateau shakes, and the weight of this is beginning to topple over off the side of this plateau. Ephraim is still in its mouth. What would the three of you, besides Ephraim, like to do, just in this split moment?
I cast plant growth on all the plants around the upper portion of the mountain. It's got a 100-foot radius.
Okay.
To like stop the T-Rex from falling off the plateau with Ephraim in its jaws and killing him basically when it slams its mouth closed. So I cast a spell using one action, choose a point within range. So centered on like just behind the T-Rex. All normal plants within 100 feet of that radius become thick and overgrown. A creature moving through the area must spend 4 feet of movement for every 1 foot it moves, so they become very thick and dense.
Perfect. Anything for the other two?
I'm just gonna, in that split second, since I don't have anything else I can do, try to send my mage hand to try to help any way that it can, if it happens to be falling over the edge, or might be just the extra help he needs.
All right. Anything for Barth?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I have a mage hand as well, so
Perfect.
I'm gonna grab his ankle with the mage hand and like
Okay,
try to
I'll get
pull
him by the scruff of his neck or his belt.
All right, so these
Good.
plants just start to rapidly grow, and it's slowing the T-Rex down. The T-Rex is very heavy, so it is still kind of pushing through, but it's definitely slowed just enough so your mage hands can come over. You grab onto his ankle and just pull, and then the other mage hand grabs onto his back and just pulls him up, lifts him over, and just drops him down onto the plateau. The T-Rex it's still going to be sinking for just a little while before it finally like snaps and just begins tumbling down. You now see every tiny little glass shard coming back up. You hear that just tingling of glass as all the glass shards are coming back up and reforming at the edge of this person's spear. He looks to all of you and doesn't really say anything at first. He's just looking all of you over, and then looks down at the sopping wet lion man on the floor or on the ground as you're standing up, just covered in T-Rex saliva. And he says, in common, very good job.
I'll just point off the plateau and I go, indigestion.
Not great at this speak, but I understand and know many words. Not that one. And
Heart.
he points to
Heartburn.
I will clarify in Elven.
That would
even with Elven, it's kind of the same problem you had understanding.
Oh, gotcha.
Some words definitely come through. It's just such an ancient dialect that he speaks that it's hard to tell. He looks the four of you over, and he looks at your attire and your supplies, looks over at your campsite, and he says, "Why have you come?"
Barth kind of looks at him and says, ship crashed. We were on the ship.
We fell.
From the sky.
He looks up. He seems to understand, and getting a better look at him now, you see what you would best describe as an elf. But unlike most elves you've met, this figure is much taller. Over 7 feet, easy, standing at full height. You see the features seem to be very exaggerated as well. A longer chin than an elf's, longer ears than an elf's. Strong, almost pointed cheekbones as well. You also see his torso is a little broader shouldered than your average elf. There's definitely some strength that you wouldn't see in most elves. But from his chest down to his waist, his form gets a lot more slender. Bare-chested, wearing a necklace that seems to be made out of various twigs and vines. Little glass beads interwoven into them. Tattoos cover his chest and his neck and his shoulders, but his arms are bare, despite the dirt that is rubbed over him for some sort of camouflage. His waist, all the way down to his knees, are covered by what you first thought was like a loincloth of some sort, but you're now noticing it's somewhat like the modern day equivalent of like cargo shorts. baggy at the waist, but you see they get very tight the farther they go down, very tight at the knees to keep from catching on any branches or anything. Bare feet, which don't seem to be bothered by the rough terrain of the jungle flora at all. His skin underneath the camouflage is like a light blue tint, and his eyes are just this electric blue color. Oval pupils. His hair is white, despite the dirt. White as can be and pulled back in a ponytail. A very short, cut short ponytail, which is also weird for like elven types to keep their hair short. He looks to you and he says, "You will be safe right now," and just points to where the T-Rex fell. But best if we go. I have a safer place nearby. I will lead. Follow. And
Barth, and I point to Ephraim, and I point to Tati, and I say, Tati. And then I point to Naya, and I say, Naya.
Naya's just like looking up at him like, hi.
I'm just like, I'm at this point, just like shaking like saliva off of me and like doing the like shaking of my head with like stuff.
You gonna go soup scooping? How much soup can I scoop?
Scooping. So what do you like to do for fun? Soup scooping?
I'm a soup scooper. We'll scoop soups.
You can get a couple bites in, I think. Or you can just bring the pot.
I mean, yeah, if you walk over to the soup, you can all get at least like your share. But he does touch his chest and he says, Samir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Samir.
Thank you.
Can I offer Samir some soup? Does he want a soup scoop too?
Sure. You are pouring some out and you hold some and he reaches down and grabs onto it and gives you a little bow and then he'll start eating some soup.
Let's get going.
All right, and he begins leading you down this cliffside. It is dark. Do you all have dark vision?
I do.
I do.
I believe I do.
I think you all do. All right, so following close behind Samir, you hear terrifying sounds all around you of just unknown things in the jungle. So you're like staying pretty close by to each other and to Samir, who seems completely relaxed. Samir's just walking, just keeping an eye out, looking around at everything. And then he reaches a place that looks quite literally no different than any other place in the jungle. You're not sure how he keeps track of where things are, but he stops. This seems to be the place. And he turns and he says, "How is your climbing?"
Oh boy.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
He just points, he pats a tree and just points up and then starts grabbing on and starts climbing up the tree. And as he moves sort of part of a branch out of the way, you see through the branches a treehouse up top, kind of hidden in the actual canopy of the tree. He begins climbing up there.
I will
Start
follow.
Climbing.
All right, anyone who would like to climb, make an athletics check.
Yes, athletics.
So I got an 8, and I just kind of want to like flail my little arm out and be like, I need help.
A 16 altogether.
All right, so my question for the party is, do you see what she's doing and just let it go, or do you not know what she's doing and you yourselves try to help her?
I think it's fair to say Tati will have no idea what's going on. Barth
has been in enough taverns to know what this looks like. And
I'd probably
I actually
be
rolled
with
a.
Bath, to be fair.
What's that?
I'd probably be with you, to
Yeah.
be fair, like climbing up. So if you...
I did a natural 20 plus my 3, so
Okay.
I'm like, but I see that and I'm like, let's give her a hand. So I'll like as I'm up there, I'll throw down a rope or something to help her.
No, that's not what I want.
Oh, now I know. So I turn to our new friend.
So okay,
And
no, here we go. So you
Mm.
grab the rope and you're ready to throw it down, and you lock eyes with Naya, and Naya's just shaking like.
And I'm like, and then I go, and I nudge caveman over here.
Okay.
So Bath gets it, but Bob doesn't. Is that what's happening?
Right.
Oh, okay, got it. Right, yeah, sure.
He's like, I've been in enough taverns to know when a girl needs a rope.
Oh yeah, ladies
both,
love ropes.
both Scully and
No.
Ephraim were like, what? And then finally I'm like, oh. I'm so my character and person are oblivious.
I
to
think
You're
Barth
like,
is
why is
about
she
to
so
throw the
dumb?
rope, and he's like, wait, this is really weird. Like, I know that look. I got it. And then I go,
Rope
like,
back in the bag. Yeah. So you see, there's just a moment where Samir jumps down and just lands on the jungle floor, and then takes the few little climbs up to get you, puts his arm like around your side, and then starts like helping you lock your arms and legs around, and he just climbs up and sets you down.
little Tarzan.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so the four of you are brought up to this tree house, and you see it's definitely like only for one person. It's not like there's a colony here or anything like that. You see this one tree house. It has little living quarters inside. It's got enough of a ledge where it's almost like a porch that you can sit and kind of hang off of. But it's nothing spectacular, but it does look safe. And it looks very sturdy. You're brought in, and he heads in, sits down, and immediately begins looking through some of his supplies. He doesn't say anything else to you currently.
I would like to ask him, your spear was something like I've never seen. What is it made of?
This catches his attention for sure, and he kind of stops looking through, and he takes the spear and just holds it out for you to see. Getting a closer view, the actual, like, you thought the staff of it was wood, and it's actually a browned glass all the way down. The entire spear is made of glass, but you see like carvings and paints in it that make it almost look like wood grain all the way down. You see there is twine that holds the very end of it, with one small shard of glass that seems to be embedded with all of these other shards that have grown around it. And holding it out, he says, my city was of glass.
Wow. The whole city?
I'm just going to repeat, of glass.
Yes.
What happened to it?
Yes. One hopes no one threw rocks.
No, the city is still there. I just cannot return.
Oh, well, you're among those who know how that feels.
He turns and starts looking through his bag again, and he pulls out some more almost like dried rations of different foods and holds them out for you to, he says, for the soup. And holds them out for you to take.
What is he holding again? Sorry.
They're just like different dried rations, most of which there's some meat, but there's actually a lot of like things that were foraged, but they were dried or cooked in a way that they will last you a little bit longer carrying them around.
It's just he's got this like treehouse made of leaves and sticks, and he's lost his entire city, and we just fought a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but he's by himself most of the time. I don't really feel very comfortable taking his food. He doesn't have a lot.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, oh, it's fine, I'm full. And just sort of gesture to my stomach.
So he just turns and kind of sets it down where you can still access it if you'd like. He just sets it. He sits down and he seems to be thinking for a moment, and his eyebrows pull together, and then it's almost as if he's wondering what to say or how to say it. And then he says, I was once told a story by an outsider who saw what do you call them? Where you pretend to be another person in another story for others to watch.
A play?
Actor.
Yes, a play.
Okay.
Yes. The story was
Yes.
about a little boy, and he was afraid of doing bad. His father did bad, his mother did bad, so he was going to do bad too, he feared. He grew up all being as good as he could be. Perfect boy. And one day, after he became a man and his love found him, he and his love were attacked. And he feared doing bad things so much that he did not defend himself. He did not defend his love. And his love was killed. Why? He asked, why would this happen to someone so good? And his rage drove him to want revenge, and he found his love's killer. He was going to get his revenge, and then he thought, what kind of person would he be? He would just be like the man that killed his love, would he not? So he didn't do it. And instead, the killer found the man's mother, found the man's father, killed them both, and still he did nothing. He was good. Until the killer finally found him and killed him too. And the point of the story is sometimes people have to do something bad for the sake of something good. If the man would have fought back for himself and his love, the killer would not have killed his love or his mother or his father. Is good and bad so yes and no? Would that have made him bad like he feared, or does that instead make him good? Questions I believe only can be answered for everyone here. And he just points to his chest. This is where prisoners are sent to disappear. Were you sent to disappear?
Yes.
Ephraim will a resounding, scowly yes.
How long have you been here?
Make a persuasion check for me.
21.
Okay. He seems to think for a moment as if he's not sure what he should say. And he says, I have been on this island my whole life.
Your whole life? What could you possibly have done at such a young age to be put out as a child?
I was only exiled about 10 years ago.
So your glass city is still here. but you were thrown out 10 years ago.
Well, do you know where it is?
Of course, but I will not be welcomed back.
Perhaps we could help you somehow.
Ephraim will ask a very tough question. He will take his glasses off and look at him, his gold eyes peering into him. Young man, why were you thrown out of your city?
He doesn't really look thrown off by that question, and he just says, I don't kill what I don't have to kill. And
Wise.
during my coming of age ceremony, I refused to hunt. With our hunts, they don't get used to feed the colony. They get used to prove my worth to the city, and I did not see the point.
Do you even want to go back?
I miss my home, but I don't belong there.
I see. I was going to say, is there some other way that you could prove your worth? Something we might be able to help you do or find?
I do what I can from here. I lure predators away from the city entrances. I lure predators away from the hunting grounds. I do what I can.
Is there anything there worth going back to?
He has this look of like, almost like he's reminiscing, and this is a very beautiful place.
Sometimes beauty is not enough.
If you ever want to go back, there's a giant dead T-Rex outside that you hunted.
It's true.
'Tis true. Should be.
I don't like that had to happen.
It
I was
wasn't
luring
sport.
I was luring it away. I didn't know you were there. Usually I can hear people or things, but I couldn't hear you. I
Oh,
didn't know.
yes. That was magic. Is there no way off of this island then? Is that why everyone disappears here?
Most don't survive, but I can help you off the island. I know the way. My place is here. I would not know how to live in cities like yours. But I
Are
can
you
return you.
sure you wouldn't want to come with us?
I wouldn't.
I understand that you are doing a selfless act, protecting entrances to the city. But why? They cast you out. You should go somewhere where you're wanted. Not wanted, but
Well, I mean,
but wanted as in somebody wants you to be around. Somebody is wanting you to do what you're doing. They don't care. you're doing this for whom? For yourself? I understand protecting them will make you feel better, but they don't care. Sometimes the best thing to do is to do for oneself. As long as it's not hurting anybody, which apparently you're about. So I ask again, would you like to come with us? You don't have to live in the city. There are plenty of places outside cities.
I don't live in a city.
Beautiful places, equally as beautiful as this. But you will have the opportunity to maybe find someone who truly cares for you.
I don't know.
Perhaps we shouldn't pressure him.
Have you ever seen someone like me before?
Never.
No, not precisely.
It's because to the world, we don't exist anymore. Eladrin don't live with other people, other races, like all of you. We disappeared a long time ago. If I show up to some other place and they know I came from this island, who's to say they won't search this island for more?
Pretty
What
hard
if they
to
find
get
our
here.
city? What?
It's pretty hard to get here. It would take a lot of effort. People are lazy.
People are greedy.
Yes, but sometimes laziness outweighs greediness.
But the greediest have airships.
That is very true. That is very true. Well, the offer is there, Samir. The offer is there. If you
In any case, we won't pressure you, but we would very much appreciate the opportunity to rest here and you showing us the way out.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You will be safe here. And with that, he seems done socializing for a little while, and he stands up and he actually walks out and just jumps back down, leaving the four of you alone in his home.
It's a lot of effort, like translating that much conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's got to be hard.
Especially when he doesn't talk to anyone, typically.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that we should sleep.
Yes, I'm covered in saliva and I hurt.
Same. Absolutely.
All right, so you all set up your bedrolls here on the floor. And
Yes.
the moment your heads hit that pillow, you are out. And
Thank goodness for that.
granted a long rest.
Nice.
So you all wake up the next morning, fully rested, to the smell of some sort of like earthy tea being brewed. As you're kind of coming to and looking over, you see Samir has poured. He only really had one cup, but you see things like taking place of cups. That he has poured everyone a cup of jungle root tea, and you see that it's waiting for you when you wake up, and he's just sitting in the corner, kind of enjoying his own cup.
I will go sit down and pick up mine to drink too.
Same here.
Very, very, very earthy, but like there's this spice to it also.
Get up, rubbing my forehead, and go, morning. Go drink my tea.
I'll get up and do like the stereotypical like cat waking up thing.
Oh, yeah, he's like, stretch.
Take the cup of tea.
And he's just like awkwardly sitting there, like,
Good morning.
Good morning, Samir.
he keeps like going to talk and then doesn't really know. So then he just returns to his cup and he's downed like almost his entire cup just from not knowing what to say. He's just like
The awkwardness.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Like,
I go over and pat him on the shoulder and I say, it's not awkward until you acknowledge it. It's not awkward until it's acknowledged. Don't acknowledge it and it won't be awkward.
Such a druid thing to say.
It just really
And I
is.
drink my tea.
Samir, is it a long journey to get off of the island?
no, from here maybe 4 hours.
That is not bad.
Is it very dangerous that way?
And he starts looking all of you over. Maybe 6 hours.
Okay.
Lots of jungle. You're very small.
I am. Thanks.
See, we grew up here. I know how to travel quickly.
We are not from here, and we do not know how to travel quickly.
But we're scrappy.
We are. We can take care of ourselves, as you can see. So, trouble should not be an issue.
May
I do
ask
try
a
to give
question?
him. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
He just says, "May I ask a question?"
Mhm.
I want
Yes.
to be sure I'm not returning dangerous people where they shouldn't be. Are you dangerous people?
I'm not. Was convicted of doing something that I am innocent of. I like you prefer not to kill unless I have to, and I prefer not to even break the law unless I have to.
I too am not a dangerous person. I perform songs back in the city, and I was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Ephraim will look down at the ground and say, I too was accused of a wrongdoing, but I cannot promise you that I am not a dangerous person. I just wouldn't do it to someone who doesn't deserve it.
How do you make those decisions?
Well, sometimes you have to listen to your head and your heart. Life is not black and white. Life is the grays in between.
And you? And he looks over to Tati.
I'm
go,
going to also look over at Tati because he's just not said anything yet.
I was about to say, he's not said anything about why he was in prison, such an innocent individual.
I'm gonna go, heh, so dangerous. Now, when I grab my fishing tackle, I'm gonna go fishing. Who wants a card? I'm gonna head out the door.
PG.
I should also add, Samir, that none of us had met before we were in prison, so not one of us could truly vouch for the other.
Samir just looks at you and says, "There's nowhere to fish."
I re-enter the room. I don't know where the water is. I don't know where I'm going.
I'll look over at Tati and be like,
Sit
so.
back down.
And I look at him and I go with the cup and I go, so really, why were you in there? Out of all of us, you look the most out of place. No offense to the rest of our party. I assume that we are capable and could get into scraps and things, but you look so innocent and sweet.
I don't know. I mean, it's a long story, and I think everyone's got their own long stories to tell. I mean, how does a world-famous pop star, or rock star, country star, end up in a prison cell? What on earth could you possibly have been arrested for that we don't know about?
Trashing a hotel room.
That's a minor scrape.
What is a hotel room?
An inn. I'm sorry.
I don't.
Room you pay for to stay in.
Like, and he points to his room.
A lot nicer than this, mostly.
But you pay to sleep.
For the night.
For the
Or two.
But everyone needs to sleep. Why do you pay?
It's a business for some
It's
people.
usually for travelers. If you are
People
visiting
make you
a
pay
place.
to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you never have visitors to your city?
No visitors.
So everyone would have their own room.
Yeah, our own homes.
Some people don't have homes where we're from and just wander. And so they do need lodging from time to time. And so some folks, the way they make a living to support their families is by helping those who need lodging.
By making them pay.
Yeah, and it's not a lot. It could be, but it's fairly inexpensive most of the time. And depending on the individual and the place, sometimes it's complimentary. Like how you have asked us to stay with. So you don't always have to pay, but it is generally how it works.
Would Tati have told us about catching and releasing the vole?
I expect so. Oh, we didn't have much time last night. We were
No.
attacked. Maybe not then. I would have otherwise, definitely. But I don't know if I
there
even
might
had
have been
a
some time while we
second
were
to.
setting up the camp and stuff before.
Like
the
right
first
before
time.
you started conversation, you were like, there was this bowl, and then it just
Right down there from
And
there.
maybe as we were making
We
the
woke up in the
soup-
morning. Like, but what about the vole? What about the vole?
Well,
Got all about the vole.
he
What happened
told
to
us
the vole?
that while we were looking at the ingredients that he did bring back.
No.
I would have told you if we had time to. I would have.
I will say then to Samir, I don't know much about this one other than that he was not even willing to kill a small rodent for our supper last night because he was too worried about the potential family that it might have. So that tells me that there's some, and no small amount of compassion there.
I also think that Barth would turn to him and say, "Tati saved me many times. Tati is good in my book."
This is true.
Samir is nodding and he seems to be accepting this, and then he suddenly remembers something, and he turns back over to one of the little shelves next to his bed, and he starts digging around, and he pulls something out, and he brings it over to Barth. He holds it up. It's basically like a very small wind chime made of glass, and he just moves it around, and he says, "This is our music," and just holds it out for you to take.
Okay, so I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna see, like, I'm gonna hit each one and just sort of like very, very nice. What are they like actual chimes, or is it like shards, kind of like his spear that are like dangling?
Yeah, they look like the shards of his spear, and they're all a different color. You've got like emerald, you have ruby, you have some of them are like light purple, dark purple. There's orange, yellow. They're every color.
I'm gonna hand it back to him and say thank you for sharing, and then I'm gonna grab my lute. And I'm gonna think about the song I was noodling around with before, and I'm gonna start strumming. There's a cowboy in the jungle, and he looks so out of place, with his shrimp skin boots and his cheap cheroots and his skin as white as paste. Heading south to Paraguay, where the gauchos sing and shout. Now he's stuck in Portobello, since his money all ran out. So he hangs out with the sailors, and night and day they're raising hell. And the original destination's just another story he loves to tell. With no plans for the future, he still seems in control. From a Bronco ride to a 10-foot tide, he has to learn how to roll.
Yay!
Oh, that was so
awesome.
cool.
That was fantastic.
Oh my, wow, that was cool.
I definitely applauds and is like totally swept away in that moment, and like just like feels happy, and all of the troubles that they have experienced so far seem to
Can I all
wash
give them
away for a moment.
while I sing that, can I give them the Song of Rest extra D8?
Yeah, sure,
Okay.
absolutely. So,
So everybody gets a extra 1d8 of hit points.
Temporary?
Everybody, yeah. Everybody who's
Is this
listening.
we'll do it that way because I think it's
For a short rest, right?
Usually
Yeah.
when you regain it,
Yeah.
you would get an extra D8 on your short rest.
so yeah. Just roll a d8 and we'll add that to your temporary.
Oh, I guess.
What did Samir think of that? Is he
Yeah,
reacting?
Samir was just sitting and watching here. Okay. Yeah, just Samir seems to more enjoy your guys' reactions to it than like the actual music itself. Something he's never heard before. That's not like the music they create. He wasn't quite sure. You hear something new, you don't know, oh, this is really good, or oh, this is bad. You have nothing to go off of. But it was your reactions to seeing him play that just kind of like made Samir just light up.
Oh, that's really sweet.
And then he finishes up his tea and he says, should we get going then?
Yes,
Yes, I believe the day has started well.
indeed.
What do you call that? And he points to your instrument.
I call it a lute.
And he's kind of looking it over, almost as if he's gonna like maybe try to recreate one. He's like studying it, and then he seems satisfied, and he just jumps out of the tree.
Well, we got up here. How do we get down?
Just climb down like a normal.
I believe the
normal
same way we
person.
got. The same way we got up here. I don't think we should jump.
All right,
Unless-
everyone make an athletics roll.
Here we go again.
Oh, great. This is where I lose my temporary hit points. Oh, no.
That time
16.
I did okay. I got a 22.
I got
Okay.
I got a 15.
I got a 9, but I'm going to use the inspiration that I got to roll a d8 and add to it.
Okay, sure.
So 9 plus 5 is 14. Hopefully
Okay.
that's enough.
So Naya, just because of previous events, do you actually climb down the tree or do you fall?
I would like to so I rolled a 22, so I would like to super skillfully like fall into his arms.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you're the last one down and you just climb down and then you like even like peek to make sure like he's facing your direction, like that he can see you and you're not just gonna fall out of the sky. And you just make sure you're down enough and you just let your feet kind of scrape against the tree, so you know there's that sound of like, oh, I'm losing my grip, and you just fall and he just catches you right into his arms and sets you down. He just says, are you all right?
Oh, I am now.
Sure.
Oh,
I'm just gonna like very skillfully just flip my hair and then just kind of bat my eyelashes at him.
So I rolled to see if like he has any idea what's happening right now. And I rolled another natural 20. So there's this moment, the rest of you see this, and then you just see like they're just looking at each other for a while. Like Samir is just lost, just staring at Naya, and the three of you are standing there like, okay, let's go. And there's just this moment of it's just this silent like stare between the two of them. Do any of you do anything?
I look at them. I mean, they can't really see my eyes, but I'm just like, I look at both of them and I go, nod a bit.
I go, Bath, what do we do in this situation?
acknowledge the awkward. It is
Oh.
awkward.
Okay. And I say out loud, I acknowledge this awkward.
Oh my
And that
god.
sort of snaps me out of my reverie.
Yes, Samir's like, yeah, and just starts walking. Like he's just like, oh.
And
like,
I turn to the rest of them and I'm like, what are you guys waiting for? Let's go.
After you, milady.
That was
Like
one
me
of
and
the
Bath
best
are like
moments.
at the back of the group, and I'm like, hey Bath, that worked. You're right. Acknowledge the awkward.
Need that on a t-shirt.
Acknowledge the awkward. I gotta
Awkward.
write that one down too. We're gonna make
The
an
awkward,
entire...
it becomes awkward.
So
We're gonna make a book out of these.
And in this session, we learned there's only so much you can do when you're dropped out of a T-Rex's mouth, and also acknowledge the awkward. Life
And
lessons.
also, we're soup scoopers. We're scooping soup. How much soup can we scoop?
And soup.
I'm gonna make an entire like prisoners merch line.
Yes, love it.
It's an actual bowl, and it just says soup scoopers. Like
Soup scoopers, yes.
I love it. Yes.
We're not the prisoners, we're the soup
Soup
scoopers.
scoopers.
Okay, so being led through this jungle, unless there's anything specific you would like to visit here, we're just kind of montage this, exploring for about 6 hours of the day. There are times when Samir forgets like how slowly you move in this jungle, because you see just this lithe figure able to just like step up on trunks of trees, jump over, swing off of a vine, and now they're, 80 feet ahead of you, and then they stand and wait for you to climb over various vines. It's very, very, very difficult terrain here. But it goes smoothly. There's occasionally Samir will catch some sort of scent or something alerting him, and he says that you have to, alter your trail a little bit. Let's go around this way, go around this way. He is able to lead you through without any issue or any other enemies. And finally, you reach the edge of the tree line to this jungle, and you step out and you see a beach with sea just stretching out before you. You can also see another landmass. It's not terribly far, but it is definitely like on the horizon. In sight, but definitely not something you could swim to by any means. And Samir pulls the staff, kind of sticks part of it in the sand and looks back to all of you, and he says, "Are you ready?"
Oh no, I'm gonna get wet again.
I look around at the others and just say, "We're ready."
Ready as I'll ever be, I
Ready.
guess.
And you see he takes the spear and he spins it around, and he slowly stabs the glass shard into the sand, just to where it's completely covered. And once it's there, he just closes his eyes, and it's almost like he is gone from all of you. He closes his eyes, and you hear him chanting something. Nothing that sounds elven enough to understand. Chanting something, and then you feel the actual ground beneath you kind of just rumble, just slightly. Almost as if expanding, like something took a breath. And then you see on the sea in front of you something break the surface. You see just the shell of a dragon turtle, small, like a baby, break the surface and dive back down. Another one kind of breaks the surface, dives back down. Samir opens his eyes and pulls the glass from the sand and looks at you and says, "She's gonna get you home."
She?
Points down to the ground.
Do we ride on it?
Yeah, you see the couple of the turtles, they the part of the shells that are on over the surface probably will hold two of you. So yeah, the two different ones. But yeah, Samir kind of leans down and pats the earth, and says, her children will get you home.
And I go, are we standing on a turtle?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
The island didn't used to be this close, and he points to the landmass. We used to not be able to see that.
Oh. What is that landmass?
I don't know.
Okay. Do we know which way we're heading?
Yeah.
Once we're on these turtles?
What, like a direction? Like
Yeah.
northeast, southwest?
Like,
I'll say you can make a survival check to see if you know that. Anybody, if you'd like.
I'd like to, I think.
Survival.
I got a 25.
Oh, wow.
Get a 5.
Got a 21.
You're too busy staring at Samir's
Yep.
electric blue eyes.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Survival. I got a +5 in survival. Nice. That's a 21.
Okay, so the three of you would know you're heading kind of more north, but slightly northwest.
Okay. And how will we communicate that to the dragon? Would they just know? Like,
Yeah. You kind of ask, how do they know where they're going? And and he just they will get you to safety.
okay, perfect. So I grab Tati and I say, let's jump on one, and
Let's go.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a swim to the actual shell, so you will in fact get wet.
Absolutely.
Before I jump onto the turtle, I turn to our guide and I take out my criminal record, the papers that I had. I believe you guys burnt yours in a trash can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I take mine out and I pass it to him and say, I don't really have much use for this, I guess, and I don't really want to take it back with me. So, here, take it.
What is it?
Just some papers to remember me by.
Thank you. And yeah, you see him kind of like roll it slightly and put it into one of his cargo short pouches.
God, you're honestly in my whole brain. I'm like, he's so innocent. He's so cute. He's a supervillain. and we have been duped this whole time. He's like murdered a whole city, like turned them to jail or something, and like
turned them to jail.
And he's supposed to be the nicest one. He's the most dangerous one. The one that actually belongs in prison is the one that we think is the nicest.
All right, so
Usually how it goes. All right, so I guess so I'm just gonna look at Samir and and say thank you for leading us out. You are a magnificent elf. I'm sorry that you feel you have no place to go, but I will certainly never forget you.
he nods, and you see him kind of looking out to the landmass that the turtles are going to lead you to. And then he just says, if I ever do leave, I'll find you.
I will, for a moment, I will
look forward to that.
I will apparate the gun, and I go, hello, darling. Do you have room for one more favor?
What is it?
It's not for me, it's for someone else. Being selfless, which is a bit of a, I know, different for me.
I don't know how much I can help, but explain.
I need some way for someone to communicate to us. Not now, but maybe in the future. Maybe if you imbue something with some form of some of your gift, it could be used temporarily as a communication device.
Make an Arcana roll. Or what is your spellcasting modifier?
That is a nat 20.
Okay, doesn't matter.
20's all right tonight.
Perfect.
Man.
All right, so you don't hear a response. Actually, you sense that she has just left you for a moment. Like she's not talking to you anymore. But then you hear something clatter and well, I guess not clatter, but like thump down into the sand. And as you look down, you see just one long golden bullet. But it has your initials engraved into the side.
Pick it up. I go, thank you, darling. And I walk over to Samir and I go, good sir, if you ever do decide to make ways from here and wish to connect with us, and I will take his hand, I will open it, I will put the bullet in there. And I go, just think of us.
All right.
And we will be there.
And he's just looking at this. Okay. And
It'll like shimmer and like a purple like glint almost.
all right. He puts that into a separate pocket, secures that pocket to make sure it's not gonna fly out anywhere.
Yeah. Look over at Naya and I lower my glasses and I go,
She, at this moment, and for the rest of the ride to this island, every few minutes is just going to be like,
and I go, wanted to make sure, had a way to communicate with you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and the four of you ride on the back of a baby dragon turtle, and
That's pretty amazing.
it's moving pretty quickly. Like when it first started, you kind of had to brace yourself, but now sitting there and getting used to the movement of this thing, you're pretty comfortable. You do probably have about an hour's ride before you actually make it to a landmass. And the turtles are close enough to each other. You'd be able to hear if you wanted to talk to anyone on the other turtle. Is there any conversation had on the way?
Maybe not a conversation, but I do have a fishing kit, and we are now at the water. And it's
That's
like
true.
an hour, so if anybody wants some snacky snacks,
I'm okay.
cool.
Well, we're on a
Shall
different
cast
turtle,
my
right?
line.
We're on a different turtle.
Yeah, but like we can just throw stuff, you're not that far away. I believe someone's got a mage hand to like ferry fish across.
Oh, I do. I could put it in my mage hand and give it to them.
Yeah,
I've got one too. You can pass it off.
there we go. Cool.
The only spell I don't have.
All right, fair enough. Do you keep the fish? Or do you toss them back?
Oh, well, I mean, it's an hour's journey. Depending on what we catch, the fish are only going to be small. So, like, no, it's something to eat.
Okay, fair enough. It's very relaxing, very serene, just being surrounded by ocean, riding on the back of such a like smooth sailing creature. And then once you're close enough to the mainland, you hear shouts. You're not quite sure if it's in a negative way or if it's just what is happening over here. There are people riding up on the backs of turtles.
Dragon turtles.
Yeah, you're not quite sure the mood that's happening, but you do hear shouting. You're able to see some people like moving around. A lot of people gathering to see this sight. But once you are close enough to the land, as far as the turtles can swim, they stop. And it is a little trek before you are able to be completely out of the water. You see people standing. You see. Is there anything specifically you do to approach?
I have the observant feat, so I can lip read from a distance without being able to hear, as long as I can see the mouth. So can I like make out what they're saying?
Sure, make a perception check.
Perception. Okay, that's 27.
Ooh.
My passive wisdom perception is 24. I've got a pretty high perception.
Nice. Yeah, so most of it is like, are those people? And then it's, what are they riding? Are those dragon turtles? There's no way. Dragon turtles are way bigger. How would you know? You've never seen a dragon turtle. Blah blah blah.
Nice.
And then
A group of nerds that are like, how do you know? I bet it.
Oh, I love it. Actually, yeah.
And then you hear some people. Do you recognize them? No. should we get the guards? I don't know. Do we need the guards? They could be stranded. Just carrying on conversations like that. You also hear, or you also see one of them say, it could have been another shipwreck. And then as the turtles are basically pulling up to the side of this little dock area, you are able to approach.
Cool. I relay to the group like what I think and understand that they're saying, and I say, should we just like go for it? Should we just? I don't know. What do you think? What's the play?
There's not really much we can do. We have to get out of the water. I don't think there's an elegant way to do this.
This definitely looks like a one-way street to Barth, so he knows that there's only one way. Yeah, I think we've already been seen. So I'm gonna get off the dragon turtle. I'm gonna pat the dragon turtle and say thank you to the dragon turtle, and say go with our blessing back to Samir.
All right. And as you are stepping like into this area, you do see guards standing around, and you do see they're not like swarming you or anything, but they do come your direction, and they start just demanding, who are you? Where did you come from? Who are you? And you see some of them have their hands on their swords. Does anyone say anything? There are probably there are about 6 guards standing here at this actual dock, and many of them, they're either demanding who are you or where did you come from.
Remembering what I saw on the beach saying maybe they're another shipwreck, follow that line of thought because I would assume there's been quite a few. And if I could, I'd step forward and say, we're another shipwreck. Our ship was wrecked. And these turtles were in the area. We're not actually that far from this dock. We've not come very far at all, but our ship is sunk.
Go ahead and make a deception check.
Oh god, not Tati. 13.
Okay. They're exchanging some glances, and then one of them seems to be able to tell that you're not being truthful about this. And he steps forward and he says, well, I think we're going to have to ask you all a few more questions. And then before he can go any further, you hear, stand down. And you look over, and one of the guards is like, but sir, they came from, and he says, I said stand down, please. And they do so. And you see a young man approach. He's maybe 15, 16, human. And he is approaching, and he says, I am sorry about them. We're a little nervous when it comes to, people coming in from the sea. Were those dragon turtles?
Indeed.
Yes, they were.
Nice. How?
Very carefully.
I cast conjure. No, not the expensive one. Where's the cheap one?
Don't want to use the good spell. No. Not
don't want to use the good spell.
Not the fine china.
Conjure animals, and I will conjure one nice big elk.
Okay. A lot of the crowd gasps and kind of stands back a little bit. Many of them seem to know that it's a conjuration, and a lot of them kind of just stand appreciating that. And he just nods and holds out his hand to introduce himself, and he says, I'm Parker. It's nice to meet you. I think.
Tati, it's nice to meet you too.
I'm Barth.
Barth. Wait, Barth.
Yep.
What? And then he kind of looks to the guard this is, and the guard has no idea.
So this is the first time Naya would have heard, like, had any kind of an inclination that he was like a famous bard. So I'm just gonna like use my messaging cantrip to say to Barth in his head, "Who are you?"
I think. Am I allowed to? Can I? I don't even know.
No,
where
you
it came
can't.
from,
You can't.
right?
I don't think
No.
you can send a message back. You just
Right.
hear
So I'm
me
just
say
like-
that. Yeah.
You're a little surprised as this huge, like, wolf husky mix comes out of nowhere. Let me see. Comes out of nowhere and almost like slams into Tati. Not in a like malicious way at all, but one of those like, I think I'm a small dog, and just jumps and just slams into you. Almost knocks you over. You kind of grip onto the fur to stay up, and Parker smiles and kind of pats the dog's back. Look, if I can help you with anything at all, please just say. The last people that washed up here on shore were very kind to me. I want to make sure I continue to help who I can. I can get you where you need to go. Where do you need to go?
Well, since our ship has sunk, we are cutting our expedition short, and we are trying to just get back home so that we can regroup.
Okay. Are you? Do you need food? Do you need lodging?
Yes, both.
Great. I know a perfect place. Just come on. And he's like pushing the crowd out of the way, and he just walks forward, and you see the dog sitting there waiting, and the dog kind of like huffs angrily, and Parker turns around. I'm sorry, everyone. This is Sepha, Persephone, but she likes to go by Sepha, and looks at her like, is that better? And then Sepha seems content, and then stands up and starts following Parker wherever he's leading you.
I would like to give pets, if
Yes,
that's
of
permitted.
course.
Yeah, easy enough. Sepha will just soak that up. Anyone that wants to pet her, she's like, yes.
I walk like sidestep around the dog.
Arthur's
Tail is
definitely
all frayed out.
Arthur's
Yeah.
definitely petting Sepha for sure. He likes dogs.
I want to do that thing where like you scrunch the side of the belly and they do that like donut shape.
Yeah.
And like, so cute. Big old donut dog.
You walk up to this inn, and there is a little sign, and above it, it's just like this wood cutout of a raven standing there. And this little inn is, you would not notice it if you were just walking down the street. Like, it's just in its own little corner, hidden. It's not something you would have found by yourself if you were just walking through, but Parker leads you right there, walks in, and kind of points to one of the tables for you to have a seat, and he waves at the woman behind the counter, and she thumbs up and then looks at the strangers that he has brought in again, and she's like, okay, and starts heading back to make some food. You all sit down, and he sits, and you see Sepha jumps up in the seat beside Naya, and is just sitting like in the seat like a human would, just sitting there waiting for her food. And so Parker just sits, and he says, so are you the only 4 that made it from your shipwreck?
We believe
Yes,
so.
unfortunately, we haven't been able to locate any of the crew.
Wow. Well, I'll make sure we send some scouts out to see if maybe there's anybody floating around or on debris or anything. We'll need like a cleanup crew and everything too. My dad's not going to be very happy about that.
Parker,
Yeah.
whom are you? And what does your father do?
Oh, Father, he's the king.
Come again.
Look, I just don't want you to think any different of me, you know? Like,
Your royalty.
yeah.
Does your father know that you're mixing it up with the commoners?
Yes.
And I assume he's not pleased.
Oh, I mean... Do you want anything to drink?
Absolutely.
Good
Yes,
defense.
please.
And he just stands up and walks into the back kitchen like he owns the place. And there's a moment of quiet, and then you just hear, Parker, how many times do I have to tell you? You cannot come back here. You don't work here.
I love Parker already.
He's the best.
Is there any conversation while he's gone, or?
It gets some very heavy Treasure Planet vibes off of
So this guy is the prince that we know of. Well, it could be a prince.
I look at the rest of the party and I go, tread lightly.
And after you
Ephraim,
say that,
Tread lightly is the most ironic thing you could possibly have said.
Yes.
You're the pushiest person I think I've ever met in my life.
That is, yeah.
I know. Parents, especially ones in great power. He says his father knows that he's mixing it up with the lessers. I'm gathering he probably doesn't.
I don't know if I know
think
how to
that-
tread lightly.
I don't know. We know. We kill
I'm not
dinosaurs.
sure.
We are super scoopers
You
of
as a
soup
gecko,
and
well, yeah,
killers of
okay.
dinosaurs.
just think like a gecko.
Think like a
Just-
gecko. Think like a gecko.
I don't know if he's trying to.
He's going along with our story, so I think maybe we should go along with his also,
Okay.
without asking too many questions. Questions beget questions.
I know.
And at that, the kitchen door swings open again, and you see Parker, like, not trained in carrying multiple cups. You see him just struggling to bring like a tray of, like, trying to balance cups and like a pitcher all together, and he walks over, slowly sets them down, and he's like, oh, okay. Pushes the cups over to you. Most has like sloshed out onto the tray. Sets the pitcher down. He's like, I should have waited to fill them up before I brought them here. I realize that now.
You live and learn. It's okay.
Yeah. And he sits down and he seems like antsy about something. Like he wants to talk to you about something, but you see him like, well, we just met. I should probably wait. And so he's just sitting there. The food comes out and they set down plates of just this home cooked, just delicious meal in front of you. You see primarily fish, plenty of fish, and like potatoes and different vegetables. There's some fruit on there too. Like it's just this huge plate of like a full meal. And the woman sets it down and just nods. And is there anything else for you?
I think we're okay here. Thank you.
Okay. And she just looks at Parker and then leaves. And Parker's like,
I take all the cups off the tray and the jug, and I pour all the slosh back into the jug, and sort of smile, proud of myself that I solved the issue. The social problem seems to be solved now. And I put the tray back and take a drink.
well, that is one way to fix that.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Tati is a problem solver.
Indeed.
Have you guys been traveling together long?
A little while. We're all different, as you can see, but skilled in different ways, and
One
we
could say
ended
we
up
were.
together.
One could say we were roommates.
You know how that goes.
Everyone make a perception roll for me.
Oh, yeah.
21.
28 with a 19.
Let's see, 21 plus my proficiency, 25.
Arth got a 9.
Okay. Sepha is just breathing in your face right now, and you're just like, hey there.
Doggy. Hi, doggy. I'm
Um,
eating too.
So the doors open, and you see a guard come in. You don't really recognize them from the docks earlier, but a guard comes in, and you see they have some papers, and they're posting them up on the bulletin board. And you see Parker look over, stiffen, and the moment that you see your faces on the wanted posters, Parker is already up over. Like, the moment the guard has left, he tears them all down, and he just walks over, sits down, and puts them upside down on the table.
Acknowledge the awkward. I was taught this.
Oh, Tati.
Right, Tati.
At
Right.
that, Naya's like, I know how this looks. We're good people.
I believe you, and he just points to Sepha, like at least, like that's all.
He needs to see.
That's all you need is Sepha's approval. He's like, I believe you, and like you're supposed to know that Sepha tells him when people are good or bad or whatever. But if they put these up here, they put them up everywhere.
Okay.
We gotta get you somewhere else. But listen, and he kind of glances around and just leans into the table a little bit more, and he says, I thought I was being a bit presumptuous, but maybe not. You came from Terra, didn't you?
Yes.
The island?
Yes.
Okay, because you were prisoners, right?
That's a tricky word to say.
Yes.
Yes, we were being transported. Were we guilty? So far,
I don't really care about that. And he just
Okay.
points to Sepha again, and he says, look, Naviat could give you immunity. We could pardon your crimes. We could do that. But my dad isn't going to do that for just anybody that I tell him is a good person. So I was thinking, maybe you could help me with something. And by helping me, you would be helping Naviat, and then Dad will be like, you are awarded.
how big of a something is this something?
I was going to ask this. Is it like the size of a T-Rex or like the size of a sheepdog?
Naya's like, I don't care what it is, I'm in.
Great. He turns and he pulls a little notebook that he had strapped to his thigh, and he pulls that out, and he sets it down, and he's like, I found something new and intense. A little ways south of here, there's this creature. It looked like it was human, but something happened to it, and nobody will believe me. But I saw it. I saw it. Sepha saw it. I could really use your help figuring out what it is, or if there are any more of them.
Where?
It was just a few hours south of here. It's not inhabited by. It's mostly like rocky. Nothing can grow there, so we don't really have homes. But I'm afraid that if we let it exist, it'll wander. Like, what if it comes here? What if it comes to the kingdom? It wasn't very big. It wasn't like a T-Rex, but it was bigger than me. It was bigger than you, and he points to Ephraim.
Well, I can honestly say that we've encountered some of the scariest things that
Yes.
I've ever encountered in the last 24 hours. So I don't see why not.
I agree.
I'm down for a party.
It's gonna
Let's
mean
do
our-
it.
It's gonna
Can
mean
you
our exoneration.
draw us a map or something? I wouldn't want to
Oh, I'll go
risk-
with you. Look,
Parker, are you sure?
I just need them to finally believe me.
All right.
And if I'm not with you and some bounty hunter finds you, then you have that problem to deal with.
That is
Okay,
a
but
big
you have
problem.
to promise not to be a hero. We'll protect you the best that we can.
What do you mean by don't be like a hero?
Well, don't put yourself in danger if you don't have to. If you get hurt or killed, your father won't grant us immunity.
That is a very good point. And it will be considered. Sepha kind of groans at the same time as you and kind of like nudges Parker with her nose, and it's like, okay, I will be careful.
Thank
Okay.
you. I look
He
around
just
at
like
the others.
takes a bite of food.
I want to look at the others in the eyes to see if we are all on the same page. Everybody's like,
It's a reluctant yes.
I say, yeah, I haven't taken off my glasses, so eyes are not exactly. My eyes are a bit obfuscated, but I will nod in agreement.
I'm just
Um,
afraid his pride is larger than his common sense. That's my only fear.
Who's Parker's?
The prince.
I will keep my eye on him.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Parker is like most of the way through a bite before he remembers something, and he says, on the island, did you see anything? Like anyone? There's this myth that there's some sort of like ancient elven ghost that lives there to help you process your sins or something before the jungle like swallows you up. Is that the thing?
There's no elven ghost. We did encounter a T-Rex, as you mentioned, but I think what you heard is not accurate.
Yes, sounds like a myth, a fairy tale.
Well, everywhere has their stories, I guess. And
Indeed.
Naya gets a wistful look as she says that.
Am I sitting next to Naya?
yeah.
I just kind of like lean in and nudge her a little bit with my shoulder.
And she's like, "What were we talking about?"
Someone walks out of the little kitchen area and Parker like waves them down. It's a girl about his age, and she looks like a copy-paste replica of the woman that is running this inn. And she walks over and she's like, "More friends." And he's like, "Yeah, we gotta get out of here, but like quietly." And she's like, "Okay. What do you mean by quietly?" "Well, nobody can see them." "Why?" "Shh. Don't draw attention. Okay? Can we use your mom's wagon?" "No." "I'm gonna use your mom's wagon." Parker, just... "I'll bring it back." And she just turns around and walks away, and she's like, I didn't hear any of that." "Okay. I'll bring it back." Like, he's like trying to convince you that I'll bring it back.
We're gonna owe this poor woman another wagon.
Are we leaving at this point?
Yeah, we should probably sneak you out the back.
Okay.
Just in case. Maybe I'm paranoid, but... Are you ready?
Yep.
I'll be the last one out.
All right, he stands up and walks over. You see who is directly behind Parker.
Me.
Okay, so you see as he is walking, you see him look into a pocket and pull out just a sack of gold and set it underneath the like cashier's counter, where you see quite a few other pouches of gold that the store owner seems to have like not found yet. And he just puts that in there and keeps walking. You enter like the back room where you really should not be. And he just leads you over to the back door, opens it up, peeks out, and then steps out and goes to start hitching up the horse to the wagon. And it is like a just covered wagon, so you're able to get in and be hidden.
As we're leaving, is there time for me to fish scoop soup in some fish soup into a flask?
Sure.
I can't leave without soup scooping.
This guy loves his soup.
He's a big
This
soup
guy's a
guy.
maniac. We don't know how long we're going to be gone, and soup keeps, and it's can be easily rationed.
I still have my dried rations from Samir too.
Nice.
Is he driving the wagon?
He appears to be preparing to drive the wagon, yes.
Does he know how to drive a wagon?
You do not know that.
Can I ask him if he knows how to drive a wagon and then perceive whether or not he really knows how to drive a wagon?
Okay, go ahead and make an insight roll.
Okay.
Because we already know his answer. Yeah, sure.
My
What's your
insight
insight?
is 21.
Okay, so I rolled a natural 1 on my deception. So that's perfect and classic Parker. Let me just tell you that. So, you ask if he knows how to drive a wagon. He's like, yeah, I've driven the wagon before.
Okay, let's do this. How about I drive the wagon and you tell me where to go?
Perfect. And he
Well-
just agrees immediately.
Hold on, but you can't be seen, right?
Yeah, you're a bit famous.
I could drive and make myself look like someone else,
What?
and
I'm
I
just-
cast disguise self.
Who do you look like?
I look like just a nondescript humanoid,
Perfect.
like human person. Especially Barth, that I'm gathering that you're quite famous. We probably don't want you
Yeah.
driving the cart.
I'm proficient in land vehicles, so I just was thinking if
I
he didn't know
gotcha.
how to drive, at
I
least
wish I
would
could
know.
disguise you, but I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. Okay. So I jump back into the back with Tati and Ephraim here.
Perfect. And as the cart begins to pull away from this inn, you begin to head around to the main. There's just like one huge center street to this little like dockside city here. And you begin pulling around to that center street to head up and out of the city, further into this countryside. And
As we're leaving, has it been about an hour since we arrived in the town?
probably not as you're leaving, but after a few, maybe like 10, 15 minutes into the ride, it would be about an hour.
The large elk in town suddenly vanishes.
No.
It's just been trotting around this whole time. It just remembered.
Just like, this is great.
Yeah, grazing on the shrubbery.
Yeah. And Sepha is going back and forth from struggling to climb up onto the like driver's part of the cart and then jumping back into the other side, just very antsy, very happy to have so many people paying attention to her. And the town eventually disappears behind you, and you begin kind of going over just different hills. You see farmland in the distance. You see livestock not held in any pens. Some of them you have to stop the cart to watch them pass. Most of them are claimed by different colored like collars around their necks. You don't see any fences The fences you do see seem to just be fencing off the farmland to keep the animals out of the crops themselves. But you are passing through this countryside, and it is beautiful. The most vibrant greens you've ever seen in the grass, and even the dirt is just so rich and brown. The trunks of trees that you're passing, it looks like you're in a painting. This place is gorgeous. And as the sound of the cart just carries on with the horse trotting and pulling you forward to wherever Parker is taking you, that is where we were going to end Prisoners Part 2.
I love this story so much.
I love Parker too.
Mhm.
that
Like I said,
character's so fleshed out already.
It
I'm
just gives me.
Oh dear,
it
what's the
just-
fun fact?
What's our fun fact? I want fun fact. Parker
Parker
is
is
basically
Yeah, I can see that. Uh huh.
Excellent.